of people think it's crazy to say we're at the beginning of World War III. But I want to show you the reason why I believe we're at the beginning of a global war. Most people just don't know it yet. The escalating violent military conflict between Russia and Ukraine is deeply troubling, but it's also deeply familiar. The last time the world saw military aggression like this ended in global war and tens of millions dead. The similarities between now and then are striking. When the Ukraine protests escalated into violence and a coup, pro-Russian gunmen seized government buildings in the Crimean capital. Russia's parliament approved Putin's request to use force in Ukraine to protect Russian interests. And then, on March 18, 2014, Putin signed a bill allowing for Russia to completely annex Crimea. March 12, 1938, Germany annexed Austria, calling it Anschluss, which means union. Not long after this union, the Nazis began a brutal crackdown on the Austrian Jews. Hitler dubbed it the reunification of Austria with the German Reich. And in an attempt to give it more legitimacy, he ordered a national referendum. Annexation passed with a highly suspicious 99.7% of the vote. 76 years later, to the week, Putin celebrated what he called the, quote, reunification of Crimea with Russia, and immediately held a referendum. Annexation passed with 97% of the vote. So similar were the two events, the Moscow Times labeled Putin's move Anschluss. And that's just the beginning. May 1938, Hitler has no intention of peace and presents a battle plan to take over Czechoslovakia to war generals. May 2014, pro-Russian separatists declare independence in Donetsk and Luhansk. With German citizens leery of war, Hitler unleashes a propaganda campaign. Goebbels declares he will not stand by and do nothing, while ethnic Germans suffer in Sudetenland. Now, Putin claims he's protecting ethnic Russians. August 1938. Hitler sends 750,000 soldiers to the border to intimidate the Czechoslovakians and test their mettle. August 2014, Putin sends convoys into the Ukraine to intimidate and test their mettle. September 30th, 1938, the Czechoslovakian president agrees to almost all the demands in the Munich Agreement. September 5th, 2014, Ukraine and pro-Russian rebels sign a truce in Minsk. After Munich, British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain infamously declared peace in our time upon returning from signing the agreement, and he says Hitler is a man who can be trusted. Less than 6 months later, the Nazis completely took over Czechoslovakia. After the truce in Minsk, gunfire erupted and war broke out 2 weeks later. So where does it all end? Well, we know what happened in 1939. The question is, will history repeat itself? What happens in 2015?